MandoLessons Live. Great to see you all here. Got a great crew in the chat already. We've got Dan. We've got Stephanie, whose birthday it is. Happy birthday, Stephanie. Great to have you here. Hope you're having a great day. We got Jim. We got Glenn, John, Heidi, Sheldon, Edward, James, Ian. The list goes on and on and on. Great to see you. Folks from all over the world. Someone coming in from a small village in Israel. That's amazing. We don't often get folks from Israel on the chat, so welcome. Great to have you here. Let's see, we're going to turn the sound down so you don't all hear the bleep every time there's a chat coming through. Hope you're all having a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. That first tune I started out with was Hollow Poplar, one of my favorite old-time tunes. It's one of my favorites. Hey, we already got a super chat. Thank you so much, MusicMouse25, for the super chat and little pear character. I love it. It's very entertaining for me. The software that I use won't actually show me the pictures, but it gives me a visual. It gives me a worded description of it. So it says pear character holding his belly and laughing out loud, which I love to read those descriptions. It's great. Brienne and Betsy and Denise and CM Johns, Swampy. Great to see you all here. Denise says, my husband just informed me my hollow poplar doesn't sound like yours. Yeah, my hollow poplar got a little out of control there. All right. Let's see, catch up. So the way these work, if you're, this is your first time, let me know. But the way these work is it's an hour of Q&A. So if you got a question about anything mandolin and music related, keep the chat flowing. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. Also, the chat often goes pretty quick here, but if you're interested, there's a lot of patrons in the chat here who support me on Patreon, and I just wanted to put out a word that the patron-only live stream is tomorrow. Hope to see you there. That's for anyone on Patreon that supports me at $5 a month or more. Not required, but greatly appreciated. It also gives you an opportunity to have a slightly chiller chat experience and live stream experience where we can dive a little more in depth into things, because I'm not struggling to keep up with the public chat that's going a mile a minute. In any case, throw your questions out there. Looking forward to it. And I'm happy to play a tune if you got a tune you like to hear, especially if I can remember how it goes, which is usually kind of a 50-50 chance of if I can remember things off the top of my head, but it's worth a try. John says, spring is early in Ontario. 20°C this week. First mandolin strumming on the veranda. Awesome. Yeah, it's good to get outside, and I played on my porch a little bit a while ago, a couple days ago. Very nice to be able to get that opportunity again. Catching up with the chat. Yep, Arsenas, also in Ontario, says, good morning from the confused weather of southern Ontario. Let's see. Yeah, there is a lot of great mandolin in Israel, both players and luthiers. I hope to I've never seen any Israeli mandolinists in person, and I've never played any instruments coming out of Israel, but I would love the opportunity to get both. Oh, Stephanie says, can you play Silver Spear Jig? I know the Silver Spear reel. I'll play that. I think maybe it's the one you're thinking of, but it's a reel. What key is that in? bit of Silver Spear. Lovely Irish reel. I also feel, not to rhyme, a little out of tune. There's the culprit. Alright. Let's see. Hello from a rainy day in central New York. From Springwater. Thomas is just starting out on the mandolin. You've made a good choice. Mandolin is, in my opinion, the best instrument. But there's a lot of good instruments out there. Swampy says, enjoyed your tenor banjo intro. Cool, nice. Yeah, the last lesson I put out this week was introduction to the tenor banjo. I've probably been playing more tenor banjo in the last 2 years than anything else. The rare occasions that I got to join a group for an Irish gig here and there, whenever those sweet opportunities come up, I've been playing tenor banjo. So it's been fun to kind of dive into that world. Figured I would throw it out there. Because, yeah, same tuning as the mandolin, but it's a different sound. Check that out if you haven't already. Swampy says, got a tenor guitar a while back. Also my favorite instrument. Tuned it to GDAE, but haven't got around to playing it much. Yeah, I love tenor guitars. Most of those things back there are tenor guitars. I tune tenor guitars with a D as the highest pitch string. GDAD, and I use them a lot for accompanying fiddle players. Sherry from Vancouver Island, good to have you here. Brienne. Oh, wait, says Ursanos. That sounds good. Oh! Nice. I missed Ursanos's thing. It's gonna weaving a custom strap for the Eastman. That's awesome. Love it. Definitely post pictures on the Discord. Rob says, do you sight read standard notation? Extremely slowly. I'm not a great reader. I do most of my learning by ear, and then after that, I'm a little faster at tablature just because that's how I started out learning back in the day. But I can slowly read standard notation. I wouldn't necessarily call it sight reading because it's a kind of a laborious process for me. Nice, family of Disney lovers starting out on the mandolin. Yeah, sometimes instruments will sit around for a little while, and then you'll get the idea or the inspiration to pick them up and take a whack at it. Ooh, nice. Patty from Alberta, Canada says he's got a Weens. Awesome. I've never played a Weens, but I've heard great things. Yeah, classic, a great bluegrass mandolin for sure. Awesome. Welcome. Cool. I'm glad. So yeah, I did along with a lot of my fiddle tunes. Neil says he enjoyed the simple to complex hollow poplar, how to spice it up a little bit. Glad you enjoyed that. Eastman Octave has still not arrived. Oh, have you? Is it like on? I know a lot of those are back ordered. They're kind of slow to get out into the market. I don't know if you're waiting on the tracking. You're like following the tracking. That's always an exciting time. But I hope it shows up good. Or I hope it shows up soon. Nice. Inspired, yeah. Happy late St. Patrick's Day to everyone. It's been a busy week been spending a lot of time at an Irish pub here in Oregon, and there's a lot of good music going on out there. Wow, I'm really falling down on the chat. I might have to skim through some stuff here. James got an Ashbury tenor. Yeah, a friend of mine got one of those, and it's pretty decent. Hey, Denise says almost bought a 17 fret tenor. Tried. Yeah, so the 5-string banjos often have a much longer scale length. 5-string banjos are usually closer to like 25. I guess it could depend on the scaling. What you can try is tune it like a mandolin, and then put a cape, then like measure from the bridge what like 20 inches would be, 20, 21 inches, then put a capo on that fret, and then try to play it. Everything will be in the wrong key, but that can give you a sense of kind of what it feels like. Yeah, because often 5-string banjos do have a longer scale length. It definitely takes some getting used to. Like, you end up using your pinky a lot more. But it's good practice for your pinky, and then when you go back to mandolin, you got more pinky skills. Blarney Pilgrim, great tune. Happy to play that one. I'll try to catch up with the chat here real quick. I'm really falling behind. I'm just reading slow this morning. I'm just gonna breeze some apologies if I'm missing specific questions. Throw them out there. Again, if I'm missing them. RYC says, I struggle to play really fast stuff. I can alternate pick now. That's good. But it's trills, hammer-ons, and offs that make it. Oh, is it trills, hammer-ons, and hammer-offs that or pull-offs that make that sound? In general, I mostly just focus first and foremost on getting the tune like just out as like the skeleton of the tune. That's always like, especially if you're in a situation where you're playing with somebody else or playing along with a record, and you have to keep up with whatever's going on. That's like the main thing at first. It's sort of like, oh, how do I play that fast? And the way I do it is just I really kind of strip everything down to the real skeleton of the melody. Sometimes you just got to leave out notes, like if everybody's playing a triplet or like kind of fast passages, you might need to gloss over some at first. So like taking Silver Spear, like I was playing kind of triplets and other ornaments, but taking that tune and taking it down to the melody but staying at the same speed, you get versus so yeah, the triplets can definitely make it sound faster in a way because it's like more dense notes. But I in general, for me, the most important thing is just like getting the groove. If I'm struggling to keep up with something, I strip everything back down just to the bare bones of the tune. And that's going to sound a lot better than kind of messily trying to throw in fancy stuff on top of a tune that I already can't keep up with. Just kind of makes things worse. All right, got some good loom talk going on. Play a little Blarney Pilgrim here in a second. What is tablature? So if you're on my website and you look up tunes, which is mostly what my website teaches, you look at the PDF, you'll have like the dots that you're probably used to seeing just when you think of like reading music. You see those dots, and then the second line, it looks more like it's got numbers instead of dots, and it's sort of the 4 strings. You have G string, D string, A string, E string, kind of low to high on the page, and then the number is the number of the fret. So if it says like 5 on the D string, you put your finger there. I'll play a little Blarney Pilgrim here. Okay, and I'll also think about wrestling with triplets, identifying appropriate points to insert them. Any thoughts on a tune like Out on the Ocean? So the way that I kind of work on adding triplets is put them everywhere. Like, it's not going to sound great, but it'll tell you by trying everywhere. So like out on the ocean. You're like trying them every little spot, in every spot you can manage to cram one in. That's going to tell you, it's going to give you a lot of triplet practice with your right hand and making that sound. and it's going to sort of give you a little sense of like, oh yeah, I liked it here, or it really fell into place nicely here, and not so much here. I'll play a little Blarney Pilgrim. There we go, a little bit of Blarney Pilgrim. Love that tune. First heard that on the Andy Irvine and Paul Brady album, self-titled album, the blue one, the classic one. All right, let's see here. Ooh, we got some fencing talk. I like it. Ooh, James says there's a new version of the Eastman Octave coming out. Haven't heard about that. That's exciting. I love those Eastman Octaves. As long as it stays in the same kind of price range, that's one of the best kind of bang for the buck octaves out there. Hope it stays cheap. Denise says 19 3/4 scale on the tenor banjo I'm looking at. That's what mine is as well. And that's about as short as you're gonna find. So, like with that one, like what you might find is I don't have my tenor banjo around right now. But where even is it? Anyway, maybe in the closet. What you'll find sometimes on tenor banjos when the scale length gets long, rather than playing like pointer finger on the 2nd fret, ring, middle on the 4th, ring on the 5th, you'll kind of condense your fingers down to more like guitar fingering, where 2nd fret, pointer finger, 3rd fret with the middle, 4th with the ring, 5th with the pinky. So your tunes might look like a little more kind of. That's a good way to not have to make that huge stretch all the time. Do you do anything for hand strength apart from just practice? I don't personally know. I just try to stretch. Do some stretches when I can think of it. But I've never done a whole lot of. I've done some kind of like physical therapy stuff of actually going in the other direction of like, you get the squeezy ball, but then you can get little kind of bands that make it harder for you to open your hand in the other direction, because we spend so much time on instruments, going inward with like holding the pick and like balling up your hand and moving your fingers in towards that. A lot of times what we really need is the other direction. Some strength in opening your hand. I should probably do more of that than I do currently. Hey, Dan got a Ratliff. Awesome. I've never played a Ratliff, but I've seen a lot of good things about those. Hope to run into him, into one. Yeah, he's a legend in the mandolin world. Holding the mandolin correctly, things get in the way. Um, Ultimately, with the mandolin, yeah, get a strap. Like, you just gotta kind of play around with all of the different ways. Ultimately, don't it's gonna be a struggle at first, especially if it's your first instrument. Of like, I don't have any history of holding something like this, so what do I need to do? And things will just kind of shift over time. You'll find out ways that make it feel more comfortable. Just like make little adjustments as need be. Play with how high up or low the instrument sits. Ultimately, whatever feels comfortable. Don't let like perfect technique get in the way of like actually just playing and having fun on the instrument. Your technique is something that develops over years and years, and it's not really. You can try to work on kind of best practices of like just staying relaxed and making it kind of feel natural. But ultimately, as long as you feel fairly comfortable, and it won't be comfortable at first, but just keep messing around with different. There's so many different angles of like how far this way, like kind of all. There's so many little things to think about. How high up this way, kind of left, right. Lots of choices. Just keep playing around with it, and it does get more comfortable as time goes on. Ursana says his wife's having trouble with the stretch on guitars. Yeah, it's guitar chords are kind of a steep learning curve. I mean, what I end up doing, honestly, is I have a kind of like there's the thing with guitar is there's like 6 strings, and you feel like you need to play them all. But ultimately, in the same way on a mandolin, that I almost rarely play all 4 sets of strings for a chord. On guitar, sometimes I'll simplify a chord shape and just like not play the strings where I would normally have to have my fingers in a weird place. Happy to talk about that. Are you gonna be maybe ask me on like the Discord or something, and I'll show you what I mean. Or if you, yeah, I'm not a guitar teacher, so I don't really know how to explain it that well. All right, I'll try to get back on the. I feel like I'm falling down on the chat again here. Denise says, David talked about triplets this morning, but didn't talk about muted triplets. The percussive sound is definitely more interesting. Yeah, so that's just kind of like the way I like to play triplets. So if the triplets like getting that muted sound versus sort of changes things from to it kind of gives it a little more percussive, as you said, Denise. That's my preference as well. Ooh, nice. Brienne says, I've been doing Sierra Hull's lessons in addition to being your patron. Overlapping songs do my head in with 2 variations, but it's like being in virtual mandolin college right now. That's the thing with like versions of tunes. I think that's really, it definitely can be confusing, especially if you're like reading from music or, trying to get the tune into your head. Ultimately, everybody plays tunes a little different, and as you kind of play tunes with more people, I just kind of try to match my version best I can with the people I'm playing with at any given time. So I kind of think of, and I've heard other people talk about this as well, like there's sort of like the idea of a tune is this like central skeletal thing, but then there's sort of like what is the tune actually when you play it is some sort of kind of like fuzzy ball outside of kind of what the skeleton of the tune is. And so rather than being a specific thing, a specific like point on a graph, there's just like this area that's like, oh, this like in here is Bill Cheatham, and everybody's going to do it a little bit different with a different note here and there or a different variation. But ultimately, that's sort of, you just kind of end up with your own version, and that's kind of half the fun. Yeah, this is another thing. You can look into like smaller scale length guitars. I had a guitar that was 23-inch scale for a while, and they're just a little bit shorter scale, which can be a little helpful sometimes. All right, let's see. Yeah, so Ursula says maybe triplets would be easier to wrap my head around than double stops for starting to ornament tunes. Yeah, I kind of use them in different. I use triplets in Irish music and double stops in old time music. Maybe is like a little oversimplified. I don't use triplets in old time music, but I do use double stops in Irish music sometimes, but a lot less. I find that if I like really kind of double stop up an Irish tune too much, it starts to sound like an old time tune, like. Versus in like an old time tune. I don't even know how to do triplets in an old time tune. It kind of makes it sound a little Irishy to me. But yeah, triplets are definitely fun, and whatever you try, you know, anytime you try something, whether it works or not, you're learning. James says the newer Eastman is in a higher price bracket. Cool. Well, I look forward to seeing what it is. Tone wood upgrades. Many people play mandolin in Israel because the first immigrants came from Russia. The most famous now is Tom Cohen. I'm not familiar with him. Famous orchestra conductor in Europe. Very cool. Collar tenor guitar is 21-inch scale, just measured. Cool. Yeah, that's the thing with tenor guitars and tenor banjos. The scale length, all the specs can be very different. Bazookies, all that sort of stuff. Oscar says, any tips on playing farther down the neck of the mandolin with chords and tunes? No worries on the English. Your English is much better than my Norwegian. So ultimately, with chords going kind of further down the neck, you start out. You have like if you know this A chord. If you don't know this A chord, look up my lesson. Learn every major and minor chord. That gives you this bar chord shape. And once you have a chord that covers all 4 sets of strings, then you can move that anywhere. So you have A, B flat, D, C, C sharp, D, and then you can also move that shape over from A to D, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, etc. And then you can combine them up the neck, and you have like a D chord here, to G, to E, A, back to D. And that'll sort of get you down in that zone. And then I would say, think about, there's a great set of PDFs on jazzmando.com called FFCP, where you can also just do it by ear. Like put your pointer finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and just find, it's a D note, and you can just find a D scale without moving your pointer finger off that 7th fret. Nope. Yep. Once you get a little bit of it, noodle around. Maybe change strings. No. And just kind of pick out find those major scales. And an exercise I like to do is use different fingers on that 7th fret. So like 7th fret with your pointer finger, find the scale. Middle finger on the 7th fret, find the scale, and always have your middle finger on the 7th fret. Ring on the 7th. Pinky on the 7th. And that'll really kind of help you develop a nice fretboard map going across the instrument. I always start with the major scale, and then if you need to make it minor, you just change a note here and there. That's the way I approach it. John says, question on speed of playing. Often tunes seem to be played excessively fast. I agree. Probably jealousy at work. But some tunes seem more tuneful and nicely nuanced at a slower pace. I totally agree. You know, there's a little bit of a conundrum where, like, a lot of traditional music, like the tunes that I teach on my website, are traditionally dance tunes. So they sort of have a speed thing going on because that's sort of like the speed that makes it work for dancing. If it's too slow, then the dancers are dragging their feet, and if it's too fast, then the dancers are like stumbling over themselves. So you often will have tunes played at like 120. Which is cooking right along. But what it does is it makes it kind of the right speed for dancing. But if you're not playing for dancing, you don't need to play at that speed. I personally, you know, kind of given my druthers, am I using that word right? Anyway, you know, if I'm gonna play, like I started with Hollow Poplar, and I was playing, you know, that speed versus really cooking through it. I don't like that as much. So ultimately, play at whatever speed you like to play at. And you might run into situations where you're playing for dances and the dancers need to keep up, or you're playing in a group where everybody's playing faster. But in a good session or, you know, jam should kind of meet whoever starts the tune gets to pick how fast it goes. And people shouldn't be like telling you to speed it up or trying to speed you up or just like playing over you to speed the tune up. That shouldn't be happening. And if it is, that's not your fault. But yeah, I agree. Slower pace is the way is my preference. Yeah, that's the thing. So Joe says, I think all Eastman prices are up significantly. Mine 515 went up $600 in 2 years. Yeah, the instruments are getting expensive fast. It's kind of startling to see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bar chords on the guitar, I don't know how to do that. I use a capo. I play 3-chord songs and use a capo on a guitar. Yeah. That's a big F chord. Kesjig. Ooh, can I play Kesjig? That's a good question. Kesjig. I can't remember Kesjig right now, but I'll do my best. Uh-oh. Chat just jumped. Okay. Ooh, nice. Ham Sandwich says, attending Merlefest in a few weeks. Awesome. What's a good tip for a beginner in a jam circle that will allow me to be engaged while not hurting the flow of everyone else? I would say, you know, if you know... So I went to my first experience, like, kind of jamming with other people was at a bluegrass festival. Just a small one in Maine. And I knew a G chord, a C chord, and a D chord. So I just wandered around looking for people playing in G because I didn't know any other keys. And I would just like say, oh, can I join in? And then join in. And I would just like chop along. And then they'd switch keys and I'd be like, all right, thanks, see you later. You know, listen, like as you're walking around listening for something that sounds like you can hang with what they're doing. And then ask me like, hey, can I join in? And you know, just play quietly at first, and you know, just I think a lot of it's just kind of common sense. People are generally super friendly, and as long as you're not trying to take over a jam session, you'll be totally fine. You'll have a great time. Definitely just like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on at Merlefest. Merlefest is big. I've never been, but I've heard great things. So yeah, just wander around, and be bold and just like say, hey, can I come pick with you for a little while? And yeah, if you know a handful of chords, you should be in good shape. Cool. A request for Cosmo's Flight. That's one I can remember. I'll do that now. This is a waltz that I wrote in the key of C. Cosmo's Flight. All right. Oscar says using counterpoint for tunes is a good way of doing that. Oh, I might have missed what that was, but yeah, counterpoint is fun. Hey, Lewis, stopping in on the way to the Bluegrass Museum Jam. Hope you have fun down there. Great to see you on the Fiddle Camp variety show the other day. Hope you have a good, safe travel and have fun at the jam, and see you tomorrow. Betsy, I like that. She says, Irish tunes are like recipes. There's variations, and there are limits of how far you can vary it before it stops being the initial thing. I like that. Yep, instruments are getting expensive. Nice. Lewis is sneaking in jigs into the bluegrass jam. That's good, especially on St. Patrick's Day. Under the Double Eagle. I love that tune. There's a great album. I know that a couple people. I have some recordings of kind of folk fingerpick guitar folks doing. There's a great recording from a woman named Lena Hughes, and she does a great version of Under the Double Eagle. How do you know Irish tunes from old time? All your music says traditional. So on my website, what you can do is if you just click on like the overall fiddle tunes section of my site, you can organize them by genre. So I think the best way to kind of figure out how to tell them apart, I should put it in the PDF. That would be a smart idea. It's kind of too late now, but yeah, like in general, just kind of as you listen and play more, you'll kind of hear like people will say, hey, this is an old time tune, this is an Irish tune. You'll start to hear similarities between old-time tunes, and pretty much if anything's a jig, it's going to be not old-time, Irish or Scottish or English, but there aren't really, there's like a couple jigs in old-time music, but not in general at an old-time jam. You're going to be playing reels or breakdowns, as they call them, the whole time. But in general, just like listen. You can sort the tunes on my website by genre. Take a look through them and see kind of which ones you know, and say, oh, okay, that's a bluegrass tune, that's an Irish tune, etc. That's a good question, though. Drowsy Maggie, that's another one that I can't remember I can never remember how Drowsy Maggie goes. Bury Me Beneath the Willow, that's a great song. I don't know all the words, but it's a good one. Stephanie's got a Gibson. Awesome. They make nice mandolins. Yeah, Uncle Bobby. Oh, wait. Oh, nice. Cool. Uncle Bobby's got some good Merlefest tips. There's straight bluegrass, old time, and anything goes. Awesome. Yeah, I'd say just go. Like, the thing about going to a festival that's so great is it's like visiting another country to like learn the language. You can sit around in your house and try to learn French on Duolingo, or you could go to France and like be in way over your head, but you'll probably learn a lot, even if it is a little overwhelming. But it's a good, festivals are a great time. Thank you, Denise, for the kind words. Yeah, I always play that Cosmos Flight a little different every time. Oh yeah, tremolo would be nice. Yeah, I don't use tremolo all that much, but that would be a good use of it. Ooh, do I have some favorite French Canadian tunes? Do I ever? I love, especially tunes from Quebec. I don't know what they're gonna be, but they're gonna come out of my fingers here. Oh no, that's one I don't really know. I learned that during the pandemic, but it's too recent in my head. I'll play a tune I actually know. Montreal. I can do that as well. So what was that first one? That first one is called Real Robin, R-O-B-I-N, by Claude Maté. I haven't thought about that tune in a while, but I haven't been playing Quebec tunes much lately in the last couple of years. So I don't have like a whole lot of, they're a little deeper down, so it takes a little more to get my brain out. Who is Cosimo? So Cosimo, so that tune is written, I wrote that tune, just kind of popped out of my fingers after reading a book by Italo Calvino called The Baron in the Trees. And the main character is named Cosimo, and he's a young boy who has a disagreement with his parents over dinner and climbs a tree and claims he's never going to come down. And he actually doesn't, and he spends the rest of his life up in the trees of Italy. It's a great story. Highly recommend reading it. Yeah, bluegrass definitely it's a style that definitely takes a lot of practice to get a clear sound in bluegrass. Yeah, neck angle is definitely important, between and just sort of the feel and the fluidity of things. All right, we are getting to the end of the hour. Oh, we got a couple. So let's play some Hollow Poplar, and then maybe get some suggestions for what we should play next time. I don't think I'm going to be here next week, but first week of April, I think I'll be around. Yeah, we'll have a good time here. But let's play a little Hollow Poplar. But first, thank you to Joe and Ian for the super chat. Really appreciate both of those for our friends and family in Quebec. Love it. And for Cosimo's Flight. Thank you so much. So yeah, the first tune... Oh, wait. So yeah, the first Quebec tune I played was Real Robin, R-O-B-I-N, Robin. And the second tune was Real Montreal, also known as Real Sherbrooke. Outside, if you live closer to Montreal, people call it Real Sherbrooke. Do I know Tutuik? No, I don't. I don't know what that is. Cool. Let's do a little Hollow Poplar. So the way this works, I'll play the melody, you chord along, and then I'll chord along while you play the melody. Pass it back and forth. If you don't know the tune, see if you can just pick something up as we go along. If you do know the tune, see if you can challenge yourself wherever you're at with it. Try to add some variations, stuff like that. We'll have a good time. 1 in the key of G. Here we go. take it. B part. Oops, start it over again. Let's both play the melody. I'll play some harmony. One more B part. Bit of hollow poplar. Well, thank you all for tuning in for the hour. Great to see you as always. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your birthday, Stephanie. Happy birthday once again. And we have a request for Irish Washerwoman. Let me look and see when the last time we did that was, or if we've done it at all. Irish Washerwoman. Oh, we have not done Irish Washerwoman. It is settled. Donegal Lass. That's a great tune. I think. I can't remember what that one is. I don't think I've taught it on my website. I think I play it, but I can't remember. Oh no, Stuart! Daylight savings. Yeah, that's how they get you. Yep. Didn't that happen last year or last time, like 6 months ago as well? Sorry, but yep. Next week, once again, patrons tomorrow, 11 a.m. my time, Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll have a good hang. Thank you all so much for the support. Irish Washerwoman is next week's tune, or won't be next week, but the week after next. Yeah, we'll have a good time. Thank you all so much. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.